Within Afghanistan, there's been a number of very, very successful public and private partnerships. You'll hear about those from our panel. I'd like to call attention to some others, those that have had the courage and the resources and the investment in Afghanistan to make public and private partnerships work. In the area of security, some of those individuals are here with us today. You have dynamic defense materials. You're going to see a wonderful presentation at the end of this panel. The United Nations Development Program, they're doing an exceptional public and private partnership with the Ministry of Youth Affairs. If you look at the United Nations Development Program in Afghanistan, USAID, they're here with us today. Those organizations have stated goals of developing public and private partnerships. They're eager to do that. You'll find them a very receptive audience. You'll find them an opportunity to work with very closely. Every single ministry within the government of Afghanistan is the same. They are open. They are sincerely making an effort to work with public and private partnerships. Take the opportunity to do that. It is with that, it gives me great pleasure to introduce our first speaker, His Excellency Mr. Delawari, who is the Governor and Chairman of the Supreme Council of Central Bank. He has over 20 years of experience in public and private partnership in Afghanistan. Please join me in great pleasure in welcoming Mr. Delawari. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, what I would like to do to take the opportunity of today's meetings in this very important summit, first I want to thank the organizers for organizing this event. In 2002, I returned back to Afghanistan after 35 years, where I spent some years in Europe studying in America. Then I worked as a banker in California. When I returned back, there was no banking system in Afghanistan. My friends, they know, in 2002, we have a market, exchange market, Sarai Shahzad. That was the central bank. That was the bank. That's where you exchange your money. We had 4 different currencies in circulation in the country. And we had we had a law which did not authorize private banking. We had to bring a lot of reforms. First thing we did, we reformed the currency. We took, within 6 weeks, 20,000 tons of the old currency. There were 4 different currencies from all over the country, and issued a new one, which is the new Afghani. We also had to change the central banking law, the banking law of Afghanistan, and many other regulatory reforms came to restart the banking system in Afghanistan. I want to mention something else about the economy and beyond 2014. Of course, we are concerned about that transition of security, but also it's very important to work on the transition of economic transition. There are a lot of talks about capital and transfer of capital from Afghanistan. It has taken place during the past, particularly past year, because of feeling of insecurity. As Mr. Karzai mentioned, I hope that with the result of our latest meetings of our presidents of the United States and Afghanistan, people will be at ease to continue investing in Afghanistan. And as far as I'm concerned, as a governor of central bank, dealing with exchange rate, and I can assure you, from my point of view, I don't see a threat. The amount of money which we expect from the continuation of foreign aid resulted from the conference in Tokyo. We expect around $5 billion continuation of international support to Afghanistan.
I prepared 4 items for you. So to make it, since the project is big and the issue is also big, I try to make it very small. So it would be public-private cooperation, Kabul New City, which I would like to discuss. So the expected impacts and outcomes, what we are expecting from that cooperation, and what the present status of the project is in the outlook. The area, the total area is around 740 square kilometer, It is around 370,000 Jeereebs, and it is for around 3 million people, but 3 million people living in the standard like here in Dubai or in Europe. But if you will put it in the standard like in the present Kabul, you can put there around 15 million people. But we will be not doing this. We will be hoping that we will have the today's standards and also the city of this century. The master plan has been prepared in tremendous work. So since 2006, Western companies, Eastern companies, with the support of the friend and respected countries, France and Japan, with our own experts of city planning, the master plan was finished. Public will be financing infrastructure in public facilities for approximately 20 billion US dollars. Private will be financing the city for around 60 billion US dollars over the next 30 years. 550,000 housing will be built. Skills in 80 subsectors will be created. Jobs over during the construction for 1.2 million people will be found. 570,000 permanent jobs will be found. The GDP in 2015, if the Kabul new city will be built, will go from 9.5 to 13.8%. This would be an historical change in Afghanistan. This will bring the real change in Afghanistan in social and also in the economy.
We are funding the Afghanistan Extractive Industry Transparency Initiative. That project is aiming to make Afghanistan validated at the international level and make sure that our mining operations are clean and transparent. We are also with the Supreme Court of Afghanistan. We are digitizing all the land records. And we do that to make sure that it's easy to access to the land record. And we have about millions and millions of land titles digitized and verified. At the end, one of the top priority of my organization is fighting corruption. Sherkat is not an anti-corruption agency. Through doing this priority area, we empower the civil society, empowering the private sector, empowering the government to fight corruption.
Saw a lot of these HESCO barriers. We spent all this time building schools and building these facilities, and then an election would come up and we would tear up the school and build these HESCO barriers to protect people during elections. This is something else that never made sense to me. So the key to McCurdy's armor is it can be built in any design, any structure. So if you have an election, you can set this up without tearing up the infrastructure, break it down the next day and move on. The key is, again, getting back to that, you don't want to look like a war zone. If you're trying to get investors into Afghanistan, you need the security, but you don't want to look like a war zone. As we move forward to the 2014 drawdown, a key challenge is protecting the police force as we build them up, giving them the tools they need to make a secure environment for investment. One of the issues I'm working with now and I'm committed to is working with the Minister of Interior and the Minister of Defense in Afghanistan to figure out what they need and help them get these technologies to secure that environment. So as we were working with different foreign militaries, including the Afghan military and police, we were asked to help them find products. The biggest issue they have is they can't find the newest and best technologies. And specifically going into this drawdown and taking over more responsibility, they really needed help finding better technologies. So we started our company, International Defense Technologies, and that company is basically set up to go out, meet with these foreign customers who have trouble finding the best technologies, find out what their requirements are, understand their challenges, and then go find them the best things and pull these packages together for them. Some of the packages we put together: situational awareness package, long-range threat detection, non-lethal solutions. So a commitment of ours at both DDM and International Defense Technologies is we're not in the business of selling guns and missiles and things that do. We are defensive in nature. We want to protect the guys that are out there protecting us. These non-lethal solutions, when you look at different scenarios, whether it's embassies, riots, these are things that can hold that threat back without actually opening fire and killing people. And that's something we're committed to. And you can do that from a protected environment with McCurdy's armor.
At the moment, we have 9 open tenders and some construction projects. We are getting fuel to operate and maintain our diesel generators throughout Afghanistan. Even still, between 14 and 15 provinces, we are providing power through generators. And in order to maintain those generators, we are buying a huge amount of fuel. There is a huge demand within the electrical sector, electricity sector or electrical equipment. Even still, most of these equipments are coming from Turkey, from Iran, from Pakistan. So this will be very helpful for the economy of Afghanistan if we could have similar industries or factories to produce these equipments or for the transport of these equipments.
I spent 13 months in Afghanistan as an advisor to the Ministry of Interior for logistics, and I am very committed to my friends in Afghanistan. It's just a privilege to be on stage today to just talk about defense logistics and how we can continue to partner and do good things for our Afghan friends in the region so that we can provide more security and stability. We are committed to full and open competition, which requires that contracting officers promote and provide full and open competition in soliciting officers and awarding government contracts.
Safi Airways is a part of Safi group of companies, which is a family-owned business by Safi family. The airline was established in 2006 with an intention of serving Afghan community and the businesses to Afghanistan.
Ladies and gentlemen, it is a pleasure to be speaking at my 3rd Afghanistan Summit in Dubai. And we enjoy, AACC enjoys the collaboration with CWI. And together, I think we have created quite a center of interest around business in Afghanistan. Karga at night. Look at the lights on. Anybody who was in Afghanistan in 2002, there was no lights anywhere. We were getting stuck in hotel elevators or stairwells when the lights went out. Transportation is so crucial, and logistics so crucial to the hub capacity of Afghanistan. You know, Afghanistan is a landlocked nation. That's not good. On the other hand, it's right in the middle of things. That's good. It's a kind of geographic jujitsu. To think of Afghanistan as the center of things, actually, there's more potential in Afghanistan than about anywhere else in that region in terms of its modernity, in terms of the things that have happened positively over the last 10 years. This distribution route sets up Afghanistan for its hub capacity in the future as it becomes that central point of transit from the Indian subcontinent into markets well beyond, look, going through Russia, going through Ukraine, through former Soviet Union countries, to Istanbul, to Europe. These are networks of transportation that will serve Afghanistan well in peacetime.